Ahead in our broadcast tonight, vendors take their plight to Bay Street. Find out why.
Members of the National Emergency Management Agency, or NEMA, beefing up their efforts to prepare Bahamians for a natural disaster. That story coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
And our top basketball players wind down camp as Caribbean competition gets ready to commence. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
About 20 beach vendors and their supporters turned up at Rawson Square this morning, demonstrating against issues that they say are hindering their livelihood. Good Wednesday evening, Bahamas. I'm Altavice Munnings.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. Thanks for joining us on the Bahamas Tonight. The group of irate beach vendors pounded the pavement this morning. Their bone of contention, however, not with parliamentarians, but with hotel executives and property owners on Paradise Island. Janae Noel Ferguson tonight explains the issues behind their protest.
Monique Taylor took her protest to Rawson Square, along with other protesters, claiming that Atlanta's executives and other hotel property owners are forcing them off of the beach and essentially out of business. In Taylor's case, though, she said she was issued a letter expelling her from the property for what she called a private court matter.
Right now, a lot of conspiracy is going on because right now the hotel representative seeks to eliminate the business owners because they feel as if the tourists belong to them. We all are faced with the challenge, and particularly the girls on Cable Beach. Right now, the hotel persons have them at the water edge operating, basically almost in the water. And another challenge is we do not have no restrooms, and we do not also have any shelters out there. Right now, the situation out there towards Venice is very inhumane.
Now, other beach vendors say the same is happening at other hotel properties.
The vendors were thrown off the property and were sent to the water edge where they operate under umbrellas and tables. Something needs to be done. We're calling on the Prime Minister. We spoke to him. He told us that he was going to send somebody back, and that's like 5-6 months, and we haven't seen, nobody came back to say anything on his behalf.
Our ZNS News visited the Cabbage Beach site where vendors were found selling their wares. They shared a different side of the story.
We have been asked by Atlantis to sign a written contract. She signed the contract, I signed the contract, and many others have signed contracts. There's only one person, and that's her. No other vendor, as you can see, is on this beach today, is out there with her. And they give you access to be on their property, and they give you rules and regulations to work by, then you need to abide by that. Whenever you decide to do your own thing, the police steps in. And when the police steps in, then it becomes a police matter. And that's what happened to her.
The incident in which this letter speaks to is not relevant to my position on Cabbage Beach as the president and my position as a business owner on Cabbage Beach.
We understand that Taylor had a hearing with Atlanta's executives this morning. Senior Vice President of Public Affairs and Retail Services, Ed Fields, would only comment to say that the matter is in the hands of police. We were unable to get further comment from other hotel property representatives up until news time. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
In other news this evening, police are now investigating a fraudulent letter suggesting that Deputy to the Governor General Dame Marguerite Pindling has an outstanding bill with the Public Hospitals Authority. The rumors reportedly surfaced in a letter dated June 20th, 2014, being circulated and purportedly signed by a senior executive of the authority. However, in a statement, the PHA strongly denies the authenticity of that letter and has reported the matter to police. Head of the Central Detective Unit, Superintendent Paul Roll, confirmed that police received the complaint and it's now under investigation. In the statement, the PHA stated that Dame Marguerite does not owe any monies to the authority and therefore has no outstanding bill with its institutions and agencies. Now, this claim comes on the heels of newspaper reports that Dame Marguerite owed more than $300,000 in real property taxes. However, that bill was quickly settled and paid in full. While the Pinling family offers no comment on the matter, sources close to the family say they are, quote, confused and concerned over what appears to be an organized assault on the Pinling name. However, ZNS News understands the family is deeply moved by the outpouring of support from the public over the last few days.
The National Emergency Management Agency partnering with the Urban Renewal 2.0 program for a walkabout in the Carmichael Road area yesterday. The aim is to ensure that residents are fully prepared for a potential natural disaster. Tonight, LaDon Davis tells us that the walkabout was just one of several activities planned for Disaster Preparedness Week.
Mostly when natural disasters come, you know, my brother and one or two people try to chip in and my neighbors and, you know, try to protect everything. Try to be on top of things, not a couple days, but try to be like 2-3 weeks ahead.
Warwick Roll is one of thousands of residents living in Flamingo Gardens, a coastline area that is prone to flooding. So to get an early start and to help prepare residents for any natural uncertainty, Captain Stephen Russell and his team went door-to-door distributing household and community preparedness booklets. They also got a chance to listen to the concerns of residents.
In the hurricane season, we always mindful of the other forms of threats that can approach the Bahamas. We know in the past, last year we had a series of floods. Tornadoes as well, so we want to make sure that persons are somewhat equipped to respond to any form of disasters that can occur. Again, we look at the community approach, we partner with the urban renewal and the police force in these communities. We go into communities, and it's easier to link up with urban renewal teams who know the communities, who know where the churches are, the schools are.
Captain Russell says while he is pleased to see some residents are adhering to the message, he is encouraging others to get prepared.
Yesterday in the Elizabeth Estates area, the reception was very well. And it's a spin-off from what we did probably a year prior into some other communities. People are receptive to what we are presenting. And our aim is to hopefully they would not just take the material from us and rest it aside, but one person to gradually peruse the documents and see what they are doing and what they can do to safeguard their property and their lives.
NEMA officials say they plan to take their preparedness message to other communities within the coming months. LaDon Davis, ZNS Network News.
From the courts tonight, convicted human trafficker Shavani Sasha Gayhall was sentenced to 15 years in prison today in the first human trafficking conviction in Bahamian history. Gayhall was convicted in March of 4 counts of trafficking in persons. She was sentenced to 15 years on each count. Additionally, she was convicted of 2 counts of unlawfully withholding identification papers of 2 female victims. On those charges, she was sentenced to 7 years on each count. Now, the charges will run concurrently, and the court took into account the 17 months Hall has already served. Director of Public Prosecutions Vinette Graham-Allen and attorney Ucille Barnaby prosecuted the case. Jara Mangra, Brian Dorset, and Benjamin McKinney made up the defense.
The Christian Council with a new board and a new focus. Find out more coming up.
And the comeback trek continues for Levan Sands. He sets his sights on the national championship. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.